Okay, good morning, everyone. Whew, it's Friday, 10 o'clock, and I am back with another Rapid Fire Friday episode. And as I think about this past week, I think it just makes the most sense to talk about last minute requests. So I've got 5 questions or 5 things to consider when you are pondering taking a last minute order. So before I dive in, I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you so much for your expressed interest in being part of this community. So welcome new members and welcome to my founding members, which were essentially my family and friends. So I do appreciate you all being here. And you're probably wondering, what is Rapid Fire Friday? For those of you that are not familiar, every Friday at 10 o'clock Central, I come on live for about 10 minutes or so and talk about 5 questions, scenarios, wonderments that come up throughout the last week. And this one's going to be a little unique because I got a little off schedule because of a last minute request. But the idea is that I answer questions in rapid fire format. So 5 questions in 10 minutes. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Annette Conrad. I'm the owner and lead creative for Edible Impressions. And my team and I create meaningful and memorable sweet treats, hand-decorated cookies for a number of personal and professional celebrations. So welcome. And I really just created this group because I just wanted to share my love and passion for all things decorated cookies. And I started my business from a hobby. So I know many of you are out there that have a side gig, or you're starting to see the possibilities of your cookie decorating hobby and maybe are thinking about transforming that into maybe your full livelihood, or for your family, or perhaps just another way to bring in some income. So welcome, and I'm happy to share. Okay, so let's get started on our Rapid Fire Friday. So the first question is, when it comes to last minute orders, you really need to be realistic, okay? So I just want to let you know, I've been in business for many years, and my niche, if you will, has been primarily focusing on corporate special events, corporate gifting. We certainly still do and will always do personal celebrations, but lately, the last couple of years, we've been really zoning in on our corporate clients and specifically our experiential clients. If you don't know what an experiential company is, it's a company that will work with clients to either handle their marketing, they may handle their special events, whether it be virtual or in person. They may handle the gifting program. They may handle things that fall maybe in the human resources department. So it really is a wide range, but there are companies that will hire an experiential company to kind of take some of those items off their plate. So when I got the call from one of my experiential companies, I couldn't say no. But here's the thing, when you say yes to something, especially on short notice, you will end up saying no to something else. And that's exactly what happened this week. So what happened is the client that reached out, the expectation was that we would facilitate, and I know some of you are going to go, what? Are you absolutely crazy? 4,063 cookies in 3 days. And it's actually less than 3 days. But but here's the thing, you have to be realistic. You've got to stay in your lane. So that number didn't scare me, okay? I get scared of a few people on my team. But that's our specialty. We do high volume. And but here's the thing. Yes, we do high volume, but I also need to be realistic. Is this possible with whatever else is already on the production schedule? And there's lots of moving parts for something like this, because not only was it the high volume, there were 2 logos and 1 hand frosted. They were being shipped out initially to 36 locations. Then it pared down into 16, so it is bulk shipped. So I had to really information gather before I said yes. So you want to be very careful. But here's the thing, like I said, when you say yes to something, you are going to say no to something else. So what happened, I know you guys are all witness to this, is I had to postpone my hand lettering class, which just broke my heart because there are so many people that expressed interest, but I had to prioritize. Something had to go. And so unfortunately that I did postpone. So for those of you didn't miss it, it's this Wednesday, the 27th, 6:30. It will be recorded, so you can always watch the replay. So thank you so much. And then the other thing is, by saying yes to this client, we also had to say no to a few other, I should say ask flexibility to maybe rearrange some of our other orders, which, luckily I have a relationship with many of my clients. And so I was very, comfortable making that phone call, reaching out to say, hey, look, we've, accepted this opportunity, being very transparent. Don't make up stuff. Just be honest with people. And I had 2 customers that were super flexible. And again, I understood what their needs were. And so I knew that those requests weren't necessarily time sensitive, but I didn't just call and say, hey, we can't do your order. I asked permission to see if there was flexibility, and still, letting them know that if there's not, no worries, we are prepared to do this. But again, wanting not to rush through, and again, having to say yes to something and then saying no to something else. So that was the first one, but the next few are a little faster. Okay, so number 2 is you have to check your resources before you say yes. And I almost got in a little bit of a pickle, but I know that we have reliable resources and vendors, so I have no problem. But you do need to make sure before you commit that you can get access, especially with these times right now, with the supply chain being a little challenging. You don't want to say, oh yeah, I can get that, no problem. And then all of a sudden, you can't get access to that materials that you need. So again, luckily we are high volume production here. So we had many of them in stock. So I'm talking about cellophane bags. We're talking about labels to make stickers. We're talking about ribbon, all those little pieces that are going to be needed, and not only needed for an order, but on a large scale. So I'm sure lots of you don't have 5,000 ribbons, ready to go. So it's those kind of things you have to make sure that you are checking your resources before you actually accept. You can only go so far faking it before you making it. So just be careful with that. I do say that sometimes, but you want to just be very careful, because once you commit, you don't want to come back and then have to change things. So number 3, and it really should be number 1, but number 3, and these are really in no particular order, is take care of your staff and your team. So number 1, I reached out before I committed and said, hey, look, my husband was out of town at the time, and I said, look, we have this opportunity. What do you think? My sister is one of my seasoned decorators. Jasmine, who's been with me for 3 years. My mom, who helps behind the scenes. I literally checked with everybody and said, look, I've got this opportunity, folks. Do you think we can do it? Will you help me get this done? So you can see what I did here is I looked to my team, because I did not do this alone, to make sure that, number 1, it is realistic. And also they want to be in on this, because, we do have a set schedule, and it does, there's some ebbs and flows based on volume, but this was a very short notice. I mean, the moment we got the green light to go, we started. So, I just cannot say thank you enough to my team, because they did deliver, and we are ahead of schedule. So it's amazing. So, and here's the thing, I'm fortunate, that I'm in a position with my business that I can actually incentivize these large orders. So I feel like I give a good hourly fee for my team and for what they're doing, but I always have incentives for these larger, especially when I'm asking them to come in, stay later, come in on the weekend maybe. I want to make sure that, it's worth their time. So in addition to their hourly fee, I also add a bonus check. And here's the thing, I add that into my price to my client, because they don't need to know that I'm giving a bonus to my team, but I'm incorporating that into the price so that it is available and it's not coming right off the bottom line, because you can imagine there are lots of costs associated with doing a job this big. I mean, we're talking edible paper, bags, labels, the sugar that we use, the frosting, the ribbon, the boxes, paper, tape, tags, the shipping boxes, the glaze, the dough. Let's not forget about the dough, which was a huge expense. So all 11 materials had to go into this job. So there's all those costs. Then you have your staffing, and then you want to be able to give your staff and recognize them for the hard work that they're doing. That's super important to me. So that's something to definitely consider. And then here's the thing, you also want to celebrate those milestones. So I've got a big board up in the bake shop, and, we have fun. We've been working together for a long time, but, you got to stay excited. And luckily I'm a very positive person, and I've been, really trying to have some fun with this, but celebrate the milestones and just, create a plan. That's my next one, is have a plan, but show your team where we're at. Don't let them be working in the dark. Let them see those milestones. Let's celebrate together, and then see how close we are. Okay, we're getting close. So right now we are on the down slope. We are so close. We still have to push today. But by tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, this job is done. And we literally started Wednesday night. It's actually Thursday. It started Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days, we got 4,063 cookies out the door and to 16 locations. So it's incredible. That will arrive on Monday. I didn't even mention that. It's going to arrive on Monday. Okay, folks, this was a very last minute, very important opportunity for this client. So we were really happy to deliver. And then here's the final thing. Oh, I forgot to ring my bell. Bing. Okay, here's the final one. Of course, there's other things I could talk about, but the really important one is your confirmation agreement with that client. So, I mean, when I worked with my contact, Austin, he was amazing. I mean, marketing and me working for an agency, I'm an event planner for years. And so I know what questions to ask. He knows what questions to ask. So we really had a really great rhythm together because we just got it done. We just got it done. And so my point here with the confirmation agreement is a couple things. Protect yourself and your client. Have something in writing. Don't just say, all right, that sounds great. Detail every little piece of what's going to happen with that order. Make sure that you ask for payment up front. Okay. Because look, there are 3 days to execute delivering. These companies do have access. So when they say, oh, we can't do this, we can't get it to you for 30 days, 60 days, say, you know what? Make that part of the agreement. We will not, not produce the job without payment in advance. And I do take mine on a case-by-case basis. Typically, I do ask for 50% deposit, but this is when you have many more weeks of notice. This was a very quick turnaround. One of my expectations to protect my company and to protect my team and all the expenses that goes into this is I got payment up front, and they were awesome that way. Other things is always have a little disclaimer in there, subject to change, especially when it's a last minute order. Protect yourself because things can happen. Even if it's like the shipping, if we need to change the shipping, maybe we get off track for something that was unforeseen, that was out of our control. So have a little disclaimer and say, look, I am working, my team is working to get this done. We understand that you want them by Monday, but there might be a delay of service with UPS. Once those boxes leave our premise, we have no control of those boxes. So make sure you have a disclaimer in there. Consider, shipping fees. Shipping fees, let me tell you, we took a long time to figure out what the shipping fees would be for this job, and make sure you incorporate that into your cost, okay? The last thing is outsourcing. So we did, fortunately we have some relationships with a printer, and we also work with a bakery. So you're probably wondering, how the heck did you make 4,063 cookies and also bake and decorate them? Well, we did cut, bake, and decorate, but the dough, our recipe, we have a relationship with a local baker where they're able to make it more en masse than we could. So I quickly, again, before I said yes to this client, I reached out to my contact and said, look, I just got this job. Can you deliver? And I got her tentatively on the schedule. Within less than 24 hours, we had 360 pounds of dough in my bakery. And then just to cover ourselves, I asked for another 360 because you want another conversation for another time. How much dough is that for 4,063 cookies? And we do tabulate everything. So I can share that later if anyone's interested. I can certainly share that. And then the tags too. And I actually have, I do have the cookies here. I wanted to show you. So this is the final presentation. I can't post it because obviously these are private for my customer, but there were 3 designs. So there was a logo cookie. They provided the artwork, pretty simple. We went around and around with the images and the designs. We had these tags produced on a nice glossy card. So they're tied with a ribbon, ingredient label on the back. So you can see all the steps that are involved. It's not just the decorating. We also had a secondary logo. So this is their logo. And then the last one was a really simple, very, very simple lab coat. So they're recognizing Lab Week next week. So here's the thing, and I didn't even mention this, but you have control as the expert on what you're going to produce. So there were lots of ideas floating around, and they were certainly flexible because it was short notice, but we talked about very, very simple designs. I love to do complex designs, but because of the turnaround, and even if I had another week or two, 4,063 cookies is a lot of cookies to decorate one at a time. So if you are getting into corporate, you do want to be very careful about not giving too many complex designs. There are really beautiful, very simple designs that are very professional looking. You don't have to go crazy because you know what? You will be kicking yourself on why did they make this so complicated? So really, and sometimes the simpler designs really are the best because that tag and that ribbon, and it's more just about the experience. It's not about, ooh, someone's going to go, wow, look at all those colors she used. There are people that appreciate it, but most people just want to eat the cookie, and it's more of a vessel for them to acknowledge what's really important, which is lab week for those folks. So that was a lot of information. And thank you for those that are watching live. I really appreciate it. And this definitely will be recorded. You can watch the replay. And yeah, I thought this was a good one to pop on here. So again, you did not miss the hand lettering. The hand lettering is coming up on Wednesday, the 27th from 6:30 to 7:30. And if there are any questions, once you watch this, just post those questions down in the feed and I will definitely go ahead and answer those for you. And then I just, again, got off a little track here. I promised to do a poll for the next, master class. Every other week I do decorating and then I do a business sense. So I'll put something out when this job is done and then I can kind of get back to my normal programming. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I know I will be getting some R&R probably at the stroke of noon tomorrow, which I know the weather is going to be absolutely gorgeous. So, and taking the day off on Sunday, 100%. So we'll see you all again soon. Thanks, everyone.